I used to love teaching, but they've sucked all the fun out of it. Have you ever heard that? I have, and I've heard it a lot. I walked into a middle school PLC recently, and the teachers were frustrated. They were told to teach the standards, but no one showed them how. They said the standard they were trying to teach was theme. I asked them, how are you teaching it? They said, well, kids are identifying the theme and they're supporting the details. I said again, how are you teaching that? Silence. It's totally normal. Because for those of us who love reading and writing and math and science, we do those things on autopilot, right? Like we already know how to do it. It's like driving to work. We get in our car and we're there automatically. We don't know how we got there, it just happened. But for kids, they need clear steps. That's when I was like, hey, I got you. So we pulled out the standard guide for theme. Okay. And as we were there and we're looking here in theme, you're going to notice that students need to read closely. And when they read closely, they need to identify, record repeated words, phrases, or ideas in a text. That doesn't tell us it here in the standard, does it? But the comprehensive standards guides broke it down to the beginning. What do we need to be teaching in the beginning of this standard in order for students to actually master the standard? So, as we notice that students need to track repeated words, phrases, and ideas, I was like, what resources are district approved that we have on hand? Turns out that they have a district approved resource called the Reading Strategies book by Jennifer Saravallo. Sorry, trying to get that so you can see it. We pulled this out and we noticed we could pull some strategies immediately as they're reading and teaching students about this. So we first started with jot, follow, fit. Okay. So we thought this will be a good one to kick off with because we want to get students ready for independent reading and we want them ready for book clubs. And then another one is we're going to teach them next how to take notes to remember text details. And we can do that in fiction and in nonfiction. And here we might start looking at altering what students will be looking for and align it more with the standard when we're teaching, and then have an overall anchor chart as well. But we'll be using that too. And then what we know is that students pretty soon are going to have a lot of jots and a lot of thoughts. And so we're going to need to teach them how to organize their jots. So we pulled this out and it was exciting. So we had a starting point. We had a book. The teachers had a book that they already loved and they wanted to use. And so they were seeing how they could start using some of those strategies and teach students this early in the school year, like right now. Okay. So as we started looking, we're like, okay, we've got kind of a plan. We've got the text. We know we're going to teach the standard so we can get kids doing exactly what we tell them to do all the time. But now we're teaching them how to do it. So we started looking at, oh, they need to be able to describe a main character or speaker and how it acts throughout the text, including reacting to problems and conflicts. And then we'll provide a summary on that, right? So we need to think about characters more. And I was like, well, we should look at another standard that's going to help us with this work. So we pulled out standard three because we know in this one, we're going to be talking a lot about characters and how they respond and change. So we started with the same thing. We kept going. So we need to read closely. Good. So we're already doing that down here. Here, when we read closely, we're looking for these things, identify and record repeated words. Here, when we're reading closely, we're going to start identifying characters, setting, and events and record that. Well, we're already teaching students. Remember, we had said we were teaching them how to jot, how to follow, how to take notes. We're doing all of these, take notes. We're doing all of these things here. And that's going to be transferable up here, right? So we're going to be doing that here. It's transferable here. Now we're going to start describing character setting and events in a story or a drama. So we started looking back in our Saravallo book. And I have to tell you that as we were doing this, we were finding more strategies about tracking characters' feelings and their motivations. And suddenly the shift came where the standards weren't the enemy anymore. They were actually the path because they had the tools in front of them to real teaching. And the teachers started getting excited. And what it took was they had the right guide. So the comprehensive standards guides were able to kind of break that down for them. And we do that for math as well. We have this for all ELA and all math. And then we pulled from really great resources that they had available and that were approved by their district. And some coaching helped make this shift from it had sucked the joy out of their work as teachers to them feeling excited. That's what we do at Compass PD. We bring clarity, tools, and support so teachers can get their joy back and students start growing and doing this work independently in their learning. And in the end, what happens is that student engagement is going to skyrocket and you're going to see an impact.